Hello everyone and welcome to Send You a Message, the Xbox Live show that aims to edify, entertain and a third thing beginning with E.
Ectoplasm.
It's not really what I was going for, but it'll do. Been up to much this week?
Yeah, well, I got this Kinect Star Wars Xbox, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. What's that button do?
Oh, that.
Help me, Dan and Andy. You're my only hope. Because you locked me here in this basement. Help me! Help me!
I'm probably best to leave that alone. Right, question 1 this week is from Marcus Cole, who I'm imagining is two popular Gears of War characters smashed together in an unholy attempt at creating the world's biggest neck. He writes to ask if we've got any info on Far Cry 3. He also says pumped, so you'll be pleased.
Yeah, I'm more than pleased. I'm pumpkin.
You're a pumpkin.
Yeah. So we spoke to the game's multiplayer designer just the other day, and he had some pretty cool things to say about the game's multiplayer elements, so here he is now doing that.
Since Far Cry is not a specific bound by this, it's the crazy island. There's no police, so there's no rules. There's no military. This opens up for us to do kind of crazy things in the multiplayer, which we find very cool. One of these crazy things is your team support weapon, for example. These are not specifically military at all. So there's not going to be military choppers coming in or military airplanes dropping down cluster bombs. It's going to be crazy pirates and helicopters dropping down homemade chemical weapons that make everyone on the battlefield go crazy. We've created a series of team play interaction specific features, such as a revive, that is like a feature that is seen in other games, but we have the ability for everyone to revive everyone, which is very specific for Far Cry. We also have the battle cries, which is like a rallying shout that you give to boost your allies that are close to you within hearing range. We have the ability to tag enemies and tag points of interest. So if you tag an enemy and someone kills him, you get support. Then, the very interesting thing about this is that all of these team play actions give you a resource, and it's that resource, the team support points, that give you access to the team support. And the team support is what we just talked about, the barrel bombs, the sight gas, and all those things.
Jocelyn Clare has an incredibly inconsistent yet utterly adorable speech impediment, so we'll succumb to her cutie pie ruse and fill her in on the latest on Devil May Cry.
Yes, at Capcom's annual Captivate showcase, Ninja Theory revealed plenty of new story and game details that did plenty to allay the fear of anyone who's still aggrieved that Dante doesn't look like Nick Rhodes anymore.
Chief designer and style icon Tamim Antonidis explained that their aim was to strip back Dante's character in order to further explore his origin and motivations as he approaches adulthood. This was demonstrated in quite literal fashion as we watched a naked and slightly hungover Dante coping with the attentions of a huge demon while covering his modesty in the coolest way imaginable.
The cocky demon hunter is then dragged into Limbo, the world of demons that exists beyond the perception of normal humans, but is used by its dark inhabitants to subliminally influence mortals. Tamim revealed that he is a big fan of John Carpenter's cult classic They Live, which features a very similar premise, and this is evident in the way that certain signs Dante comes across reveal hidden messages when viewed from certain angles.
As Dante battles his way through a pier fairground, he comes across reminders of the night before, his trademark pistols ebony and ivory hanging out of a discarded bra, for example, until he's finally fully equipped and ready for combat. This was Ninja Theory's opportunity to not only prove that Devil May Cry fans have nothing to worry about, but to also show that they've simultaneously improved the accessibility and complexity of its trademark combat.
Dante will earn additional angel and demon weapons as he progresses, which can be used to switch up combos on the fly. Osiris, an angelic scythe, is designed for fast multi-hit combos, while Arbiter, a demon axe, is slow and incredibly powerful, which makes it the ideal tool for smashing enemy defences. Angel and demon weapons are activated by holding the left and right triggers respectively while using the standard attack buttons, which means alternating attacks and attaining the hallowed SS style rank is now something that more than a handful of players can realistically attain.
This is aided by an enhanced ranking system which now shows exactly how many style points are earned from each attack. This should encourage players to keep mixing things up to keep the big scores rolling in while removing the elements of trial and error that characterise the style system of the previous 4 games. Having played a good 15 minutes worth of demo, I can vouch for Capcom's claims that this is still a Devil May Cry game at heart, and that Ninja Theory's expertise in creating compelling narrative and characters is put to great use. For more on DMC, check out our Captivate Roundup and look out for the full interview with Tamim and Capcom's Alex Jones very soon. H31N0 is asking about a new Rock Band game.
Isn't that a strain of swine flu?
Yeah, very possibly. But he's asking a question and we're here to answer it, even if he is a subtype of the influenza virus.
Fair enough. So the good news is that there is a new Rock Band game on the way. The also good news, depending on your point of view, is that it's a bit different to what you might be expecting.
Yeah, so Rock Band Blitz, as it's known, does away with the need for living room cluttering instrument peripherals altogether. Instead, you control the game with a standard Xbox 360 controller.
The gameplay should look familiar to anyone who played early Harmonix titles Frequency and Amplitude. The track you're playing is represented by the usual scrolling highways, and you can switch between the tracks representing the different instruments on the fly, charging each track up by playing well to earn increased multipliers.
In an interview with G4TV, Harmonix project director Matthew Nord also went into detail about some of the other gameplay additions, including power-ups that explode notes, meaning less for you to worry about playing, and purple notes that introduce new challenges with big rewards, like adding a bouncing ball to the tracks that you have to keep from dropping off the bottom of the screen by playing an improvised game of Breakout.
Nord also stated that the game will work with all available Rock Band songs. Currently that's over 3,700 tunes and counting, and as soon as you buy Rock Band Blitz, you can play everything you already own.
In the inconceivable event that you don't own a Rock Band game, Rock Band Blitz does also come with 25 tracks for you to play, and if you do own another Rock Band game, these will be available for you to play there as well.
As with the rest of the Rock Band games, Harmonix will be keeping up a regular DLC schedule for Blitz, with new tracks releasing every week. There'll also be a recommendation system to let you know what other tracks you might like, as well as what your friends are playing.
No release date yet beyond summer, but if you're as big a fan of Frequency and Amplitude as I am, then here's a confirmed release date for you. Not soon enough.
All pun intended sends us this question about Borderlands 2, crucially failing to make any puns at all while doing so.
Yeah, he could have said he was bored of waiting for news, or
Gonna ask us a question?
guns, border, shoot.
Okay, harder than it looks, I guess. Anyway, here's Steve Gibson, Vice President of Gearbox, to take you through some of the new features on show in the game.
In Borderlands 2, you're going to run into 8 different manufacturers of weapons. There are going to be guys like Jacobs, that Old West theme, where you're going to see wood grains and metals and engravings. You're going to see Malawan, the more of that science fiction kind of feeling, where you're going to get these, like sheens, and you're going to have these emissives and things like that. You're going to run into Vladok, which is going to be, this is more of a rapid fire, almost a Russian AK-47 kind of vibe. You're going to run into TDR. These guys are like the disposable almost. And the way the guys got the shapes are from like disposable Bic razors. You don't actually reload a TDR, you just toss them away every time. So all these different weapons have different themes, and you're going to see that visually whenever you pick one up. And you actually combine all these as well. So you can get a Jacobs handle with a Vladok barrel. So that's how you get millions of weapons, is all these different possibilities.
Snipe Soldier Lee has a lot of time to think while he spends entire death matches just lying down and annoying everyone rather than running around and playing games properly. And God, I hate snipers so much, so he's wondering if there's any new Resident Evil 6 info.
Bloody snipers. Well, yes, loads of new details spilled out of Captivate, some of which we'll save for our upcoming interview feature with the game's executive producer and director, but here are just some of the juicier revelations.
God, I can't stand snipers. Resident Evil 6 is described by its creators as a horror entertainment experience, which means that it encompasses horror in its many forms, from the tense spare frights of the early Resident Evil games to the more intense, panic-driven scares of Resident Evil 4 and 5. Rather than shifting the tone jarringly throughout the game, it reserves a different style for each of the 3 protagonists, all of whom enjoy a complete standalone campaign that can be tackled in any order you wish.
What is their problem? Just use a proper gun so I can look you in the face. Joining series stalwarts Leon Kennedy and Chris Redfield is Jake Muller, who, it transpires, is the son of the now-deceased Albert Wesker. Jake is a mercenary fighting in the fictional Eastern European country of Edonia to raise money for his family when he's approached by Sherry Birkin, who you may remember as a little girl in Resident Evil 2, who claims that Jake's blood can save the world from bioterrorism. Once she flashes the cash, Jake agrees to tag along, and the two embark on a journey that will ultimately see them crossing paths with Chris and Leon.
I looked up coward in the dictionary the other day and it just had a picture of a sniper. In fact, all 3 stories intertwine and ultimately see the playable trio end up in China, which, for reasons not yet revealed, appears to be the home of the most powerful letter-dash virus yet, the C virus. One scene in the new trailer shows a tense face-off between Leon and Chris, which should be enough to have most fans placing their pre-orders as we speak.
Nice to see that they're men enough to have a face-to-face encounter, unlike snipers. The C virus reportedly sees victims being encased in chrysalids, although what emerges is a closely guarded secret. We're guessing it's not a beautiful butterfly, but it could be an acid-spitting butterfly with the head of a man.
Yeah, or even the ugliest creature of all, a sniper. Zombies are back in force, nippier than before, and in some cases armed with the weapons they were wielding when they were still humans fighting off other zombies in vain. In the gameplay demo we saw, Leon is able to utilise these weapons for context-sensitive takedowns, such as removing a knife from a zombie's chest and then reinserting it through their throat, head and brain.
In Modern Warfare 3, you know what's more satisfying than knifing a sniper in the throat, head and brain?
No.
It's nothing. Nothing is. We were given a decent look at what the game's director calls a stress-free control scheme, which promises greater flexibility but not at the expense of challenge or, importantly, terror. Characters can enter into cover, move and shoot, and even dive onto the floor and shoot from the ground when called for, although this leaves you in a prone state where you have to deal with zombies piling onto you like naughty schoolchildren.
Yeah, judging by their voices, most snipers are naughty schoolchildren. It was also confirmed that all 3 characters will be accompanied by a partner throughout, which means that co-op play is available at all times. Unlike Resident Evil 5, the co-op mechanic is drop in, drop out, which means that if someone signs out deliberately or otherwise, the AI will immediately resume control for an entirely seamless experience.
Finally, in a move that goes against everything we've come to expect from this industry, Capcom has actually brought the release of the game forward to the 2nd of October, so there's even less time to wait to play what looks to be the finest Resi yet. Also, don't forget that picking up the excellent Dragon's Dogma from 25th of May also rewards you with early access to the Resi 6 demo.
And that's plenty for you to be going on. As with DMC, check out our Captivate Roundup for more info, as well as our upcoming in-depth interview with the developers. In other news, we don't hate snipers, really.
I just wish they'd stop shooting us in the head. It'd be nice.
Chris Toome used to be like us, apparently, until he took an arrow to the knee.
I'm told it's a much more common injury than you'd think. Anyway, he's after info on Skyrim DLC.
Well, while news on actual quest-based DLC is in short supply, beyond the fact that the first 2 pieces of content will be timed exclusives to Xbox 360, Bethesda has announced that it will be bringing Kinect voice recognition to Skyrim through a title update.
Presumably this has risen out of Bethesda's Game Jam, where, upon completion of Skyrim, the team was given 1 week to come up with anything they liked and put it in the game, as detailed by Bethesda executive producer Todd Howard in his DICE 2012 keynote speech.
The most obvious application for the voice recognition is the ability for you to do dragon shouts by screaming your chosen shout at the top of your lungs, just like the Dragonborn, him or herself.
So if your neighbours don't hate you enough already, tell them to buckle the hell up.
But Bethesda also has a few other cool uses for the tech. We'll let them do the explaining.
I'd be a lot warmer and a lot happier with an arrow in the knee.
My cousin's out fighting dragons, and what do I get? An arrow in the knee.
Been too long since we've had a good arrow in the knee.
You come up to me, fists raised, you're looking for an arrow in the knee.
Hold on, Gagan.
Yo, Toshu. Islanus.
Try now.
去说诈。
And that's it for another week's dose of edifying ectoplasm. But remember, your questions are the Mass Effect 3 ending that we should be refusing to change, so keep them coming into the Gamertag Sent You a Message, or the almost 4 other ways.
Email us please using sentyouamessage@hotmail.com, or do us a Twitters on that there Twitter at sentyouamessage.
Or head over to our Facebook wall at facebook.com/Sent You a Message, where Facebook treasures await. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Help! Help me! I'm still down here! There's rats down here!
Can you not mute that or something?
Help!